Hey besties, it's Lisa. Today we are going to use Walmart wood pieces to craft. So first one here, I've got this rectangular shaped piece of wood, and then I have these rub-on transfers. I got them from Essential Stencil in case you're interested. I bought them last year. They had a sale, and I thought, oh, I'll get them for the next year, and boy, are they cute. Anyway, I'm going to use this staple remover that I have from Amazon that works really well on those heavy-duty staples. I'm going to sand around all the edges and over the top in front of the board. Then I'm going to brush away all the sanding dust. Now I'm going to take some of my tumbling tower blocks that I already had from previous projects. Some were already glued together, and I'm going to use them to make a stand. First thing though, I am going to paint this board with the plaster color chalk paint by Waverly and then lightly sand it down to make sure that it's very smooth on top. If you love crafting inspiration, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. I'd love to see you again. Next, I'm going to cut out the image that I want of the rub-on transfers, make sure that there's no dust on the wood, and then separate the transfer. I'm going to place it right where I want it. Then I'm going to take a little wood stick. You can use a credit card, any kind of a scraper tool that you have, and I'm going to start scraping over the top of it. Now, I will do that over the whole thing, and then I'll go to one of the corners and I'll start lifting, and that way if I see that anything hasn't adhered, I can put it right back down and rub some more over it. So you're going to see me doing that here in just a moment. So I noticed there was still a little bit on the paper in just a second here, so I laid it back down and continued to scrape, and that did the trick. And I just go very slowly and carefully until I get the entire image adhered. I love rub-on transfers. I could never paint something like this, honestly, and it's so crisp and clean. Okay, another spot I found, so I'm going to go right back over it. And there we go. And now I'm just going to burnish over the top with my hand. You could use a very soft cloth too, nothing rough though. Now I'm going to, just with my own handwriting, I'm going to write in cursive cheers. And then I'm going to take a black marker and go over the pencil marks that I made. You could use stickers for this. You could use a Cricut. You could use carbon paper, whatever you want. I just figured for such a short word, I could be really careful and hopefully it doesn't look too bad. I'm going to dry that marker with my heat tool because when you put like a clear adhesive or clear coat over the top, sometimes they run. Now I'm going to use some hot glue and I'm going to add my little stand out of 2 Jenga blocks. And this way it can go on a tier tray or on a shelf or just anywhere that you want it. Maybe on your coffee bar during the fall or autumn time. I just think this is so cute. I've wanted to make something with these cute little drinks, but I just hadn't done it before. And I saw this and I went, this is what I'm going to do. I did cover it with Mod Podge and that was it. Now, I can't drink these drinks because I'm diabetic, and boy, would that soar my sugar. But isn't it just fun to look at? Let me know what you think. For this Walmart wood DIY craft, I've got these stars, and then I've also had these letters in my stash that spells fall. I've also got this vinyl top liner. It's very textured and it's thicker than a paper one. I really like these. Anyway, I thought the colors on it were very, very fall looking. I'm going to position them so I can get all 4 of them across using as little of this liner as possible so I can save it for future DIYs. Now I'm just going to use my Beacon fabric tack glue. I'm going to put it all over the back of the stars and just put them right back on. This will save the most of that liner, and then I will just cut them out. So I'll use my brayer to make sure that it's very much adhered to the top, especially since it's textured. I want to make sure that it's laying as flat as possible. Now I'm just going to take a blade and I'm going to get a fresh one by snipping off the end, and I'm just going to go around all of the stars and cut them out. And this will just make a perfect cut, and I think this is going to look so cute. Are you on Pinterest and Facebook? I am, and I've been posting daily on Pinterest and trying to post more on Facebook, so I'd love for you to join me there. It's a lot more fun when more of you are there to interact with. Now that I've got the stars cut out, I'm going to tape the back of these little letters so they stick down, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint them. I'm going to use a combination of pumpkin and mace. So first I'll lay down the pumpkin, I'll get around the edges too, and then I'll dry those off a little bit. And while they're still a little damp, I'm going to add some of the maize color. I'm just going to put a little on my brush, wipe most of it off, and then drag it around because I want this to be kind of like a blended look, not a dry brush. It's going to be heavier than that. Isn't that pretty? Looks like fall leaves to me. Now I'm just going to put the Beacon fabric tat on the back of each of the letters and put it in the center of each of the stars. And I am just loving this combination. I think it's so pretty and so fall looking. I'm going to take a furniture marker and I'm just going to go around the edges of the letters because I want to define them just a little bit more because it's easier to see them when you have a little bit of an edge, and that kind of distresses them too. And then I'll go around all of the edges of the stars as well, and it just makes it pop. This is such an easy craft, and I'm loving how it's looking so far. Now I'm going to take a dowel. I'm sure I got this at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use that furniture marker, and I'm just going to stain it all the way around the dowel. It's a very fast way to do something like this so that you don't have to tape it down and, do the paint and all of that. So I'm going to position the stars, the words fall on there, and I'm just going to put glue right where I know it's going to touch, and I'll hold it to make sure it adheres very nicely. Now once I get all 4 letters on, I'm going to turn it over and I'm just going to reinforce it with some more hot glue on the back. This way I don't think it'll go anywhere. I feel very comfortable that this is going to stay put. Now you can always use wood glue if you prefer. Now I'm going to take some rope and I'm just going to put a little bit on each end. I'm going to glue it down and add a little bit of masking tape like I usually do just to secure it. And that'll be a perfect hanger for this. I'm thinking this would look really pretty in the center of a wreath hanging on your door, but you could also just hang it anywhere you want. You don't have to have such a long hanger if you don't want. I like to leave them on there. Someone asked me recently. That way you can decide how you want to do it later. So let me know what you think. For this Walmart wood DIY craft, I've got an oval piece of wood, and I'm just going to take off all the stickers and labels, and then I've got this calendar. It wasn't from the Dollar Tree. It's one of those you get in the mail, and I saw this really beautiful picture of these birds with pumpkins, and I thought that would be such a pretty one to use. So I'm going to use that staple remover that I have from Amazon to get rid of that heavy-duty staple that's on there. Really works so well. I'm going to sand around the edges and everywhere and then wipe away the sanding dust. Now I'm going to trace over this calendar picture to show the part that I want, and that's what I'll cut out. That's what will fit right on this oval. I'm going to use my Mod Podge and I'm just going to lay it down. Now, just so you know, I usually prefer to use the glue sticks, and I don't know why I didn't this time. So that's just, I would have done that if I thought about it, but I think the Mod Podge was sitting right in front of me. So that's how that goes. And I usually do one part of it first and then do it in sections. And then I use my brayer to make sure it's very, very adhered. Now I'm going to take a sanding sponge from the Dollar Tree. Also, a nail file works really well for this. Just going to go around the edges in a downward motion so I get a nice clean edge, and it looks like it's just part of the wood when you do this. Now I'm just going to add a little hanger with some of my jute. Just use some hot glue and masking tape and secure it to the back. Super easy and very secure. This is also a very light piece. Now I'm going to take my Antique Wax by Waverly, and I'm actually going to stain the edges. I'm going to put it on, and then I will wipe back the excess. I'm also going to make sure that a little bit gets on the whole thing just to continue with that little distressed look that I'm going for. And then I decided to just paint the back. You don't have to. I just did because I feel like depending on where I put this, you might see it if I don't hang it or if I put it on a tray or something like that. And it's such a small piece, I thought, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it. And then it looks nice and finished front and back. And then there was still a little gap there, so I went in with an art brush and I just kind of filled that in so it didn't look, kind of scraggly, with the wood. It was really hard to get that wood smooth way deep inside that crevice. So I think this covered it up nicely, and now I'll wipe it back and it looks great. This was so easy. I love how this is turning out. I'm going to cover the entire thing with some Mod Podge just to seal it in, since that is a piece of paper from a calendar. Next, I've got some fall leaves. I'm just going to add them on. I'll cut them into little pieces. That way I can put them exactly where I want and put them kind of around the pumpkins. Like, there are leaves in the picture, so I like to bring it to life, creating a little more of a 3D type of an effect. And that's what I'm doing here. Again, this is optional. If you don't want to do that, don't do it. Anything I do is simply for inspiration. It's not the only way. It's just one way of doing it. And I do things different ways all the time. I'm going to add a cute little acorn right to the center. center there. I love little things like that. And then I'm going to add a couple little berries from a pit berry pick that I had. And that's it for this one. I think it's so pretty. It would look so nice in fall, around your house, anywhere you want to put it. I just love the colors. Let me know what you think. For this Walmart wood DIY craft, I've got this double frame that I got from Walmart, and these were all so inexpensive. Some of them were less than Dollar Tree prices, and some were just slightly over, but very, very good quality. I've also got these very thick furniture tacks that I got on Amazon. I love them. So this is how the frame works. You can either stand it up horizontally or vertically. There's a hole for both on the back with that little peg. I'm going to take this faux leather that I had in my stash. Now you can get this at any fabric store. Sometimes I think they even have it at Dollar Tree. But anyway, it's not that hard to find. I know they have it at the larger craft stores. And I'm going to put the Beacon fabric tack glue on the back. I'm going to start at the top and just lay the piece over. That way I can do this in sections, and then I'll fold it back and do some more until I get the entire thing adhered. And this gives me the opportunity to put it down in little pieces, if you will, or sections, and really try to flatten it out. Because there was a fold in this leather, and so it is still there, but I think that by using my brayer, that really helped get rid of it as much as possible. Now I'm going to cut around the edges, and then I'm going to take a blade and I'm going to take out the center portions of those the picture holes. Super easy. This cuts very well with a very sharp pair of scissors and a nice blade. You can just go around all of the sides, and it was very easy to cut. And of course, I always try to set it on my cutting mat so I don't ruin anything. I have plenty of holes in my table for other reasons, and I'm going to need to recover it soon because I've gotten a little bit lazy. Anyone else do that? You just don't want to pull something out, or you know what I mean? I think we're all like that at times where we just think, it'll be okay, or I won't put a paper down when I paint, and then next thing you know, there's paint everywhere, or there's a hole in your table. I can't be the only one. Let me know if you have mishaps like that as well. It's just one of those things where you're in the mode and you just don't want to stop and do something different. Anyway, I'm going to take some twine and I'm going to line the picture holes just with the twine using some hot glue. I think that looks very pretty, and that makes this look very rustic, which is the look I was going for with the leather. So there, that's done. Now I'm going to take the furniture tacks and I'm going to put one in each corner and then one in between each of the corners. So altogether, there's going to be 8 of them. I didn't want to line the whole thing because I was having a hard time getting them in. And would you believe that the ends of them were so long that it came out the other side and went into my table? After what I just said, I just made a bunch of holes in my table. So now I'm having to cut off those little tips so that they aren't too sharp. When I do that, just so you know, either you should wear safety glasses or I close my eyes just because you don't know where that little end's going to fly. Now I did cover them all with some hot glue just to protect anything that this sits up against the wall, whatever it might be if I hang it. I didn't want it to be rough on the edges. And that's it. You can just add some pictures. I added some cute little pictures from a calendar. You could put pictures of your family or friends. I thought this was so pretty, and you could use this actually any time of year, not just for the fall. What do you think? Ready for more inspiration? Here's another video I think you'll really like. If you click on it, I will see you there. You are truly a blessing to me. Bye!